Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back. So today we're on my wife's wicked Kawasaki Ninja 125 and we're going to be going over all of the hardest things that you will learn when you start riding motorcycles. Now I tend to find that CBT instructors don't really go over this kind of stuff, or they expect you to know it before you even arrive there, which does seem a little bit backwards. So today we're going to be filling in those gaps. We're going to go over all of the hardest things that you will learn and the easiest ways to practice them. We do have detailed breakdowns of everything that we're going to be going over in today's video, so definitely go and check out our beginner rider playlist. I'll leave it linked in the video description if you want a more in-depth view of everything that we're going to be going over in today's video. So let's jump on and let's get started. Alright everyone, so today I'm going to assume that you already know the basics of how a motorcycle works. If this video is one step too far for you, we do have a basics video which I do recommend you go and check out. I'll leave that in the video description as well for you. But I think the very first thing that everyone gets nervous about is probably clutch control. You know what I mean? Now we do have an in-depth video on how to do this, but let's just go over the basics. So of course, we're going to start the bike up as you normally would, and we're going to push it into first gear. Now I want you to ignore the throttle. All I want you to do is focus on the clutch, because you should be able to get the bike moving on just the clutch and the idle revs, even if they're just over like 1000 RPM. So I'm going to put my hand on here, but I'm not actually going to use it. I'm going to put my hand on there instead, so you can't see me twisting it. So you can see that I'm not lying to you here. But I'm able to ride the bike just on idle revs, and I can even go up a gear as well. So what I'm doing there is start slowing down. Let's put it back into first. Let me demonstrate what I'm doing. So I'm finding the point at which the bike starts moving forward, and I'm basically holding it there and then gently releasing, and I got my feet up off the ground and I haven't stalled it. This is the easiest way to practice clutch control. The easiest way that I found anyway, and it seems to be that a lot of you lot feel the same way, because you get a lot of people kind of teaching that you need to use throttle as well. And yeah, you can, but that is to get off to a quicker start. That's when that kind of technique is more useful. We'll go over that in a little bit more detail in a second here, but all I want you to do is just practice this without stalling the bike. And of course, keep this hand on this handlebar as well. I'm just doing this for demo purposes. And yeah, you can go at the gears as well, and the bike basically will move itself forward. Very difficult technique to learn, but once you've got it, you'll remember it forever. And this will apply to any motorcycle as well, not just 125s. Alright, so let's go over now how to launch quickly, because I think again, once you start getting on the road and you start riding properly, this is one of those techniques that is going to come in handy a lot of times. Now, so we're going to start off just like before. We're going to get to the point where the bike starts moving itself forward. Now from there, we're going to apply gas and let the clutch out all the way, and that's how you get away quickly. So if you're like at a red light or something like that, that's how you do it. So as a motorcyclist, you will be anticipating the lights. That's what you should be doing. All right, so put it into gear, get it into that position where it's ready to go, apply gas, and then let it out all the way. And if you follow that technique, you shouldn't have any problems. We'll do it again. We'll go into neutral. Here we go. So clutch in, gear down, let the clutch out until the bike starts moving forward, hold it there, gas, and let the clutch out all the way. And naturally, the more revs you give it, well, the faster it's going to launch. And that's the easiest ways, guys, to learn clutch control and to launch quickly. Because a lot of people, you see them doing gas first, then clutch. That is a way you can do it. And when it comes to 125s as well, because it takes a little bit of time for the revs to build up, if you hold the revs at about 4,000 or 5,000 RPM and then let the clutch out to that point and then accelerate more, then you're going to get off even quicker. But just starting off, just so you can get confidence in the clutch, just focus on getting the bike moving on idle revs, which are usually between 1 and 1,500 RPM. Alright, once you've learned that, then launching quickly is going to be quite a straightforward thing for you to learn afterwards, because you already know the hard bit. Once you've got that muscle memory, once you understand the technique, you've pretty much got it at that point.
So another reason why I like to teach clutch first rather than throttle first when you're practicing clutch control, 125cc bikes are really forgiving. You can pin that throttle 100%, let out the clutch as quickly as you like, the bike probably won't wheelie. But then when you start getting to bigger bikes, even just 250 or 300cc, you do that exact same thing, or even half revs, and you let that clutch out too quick, the bike is going to loop itself. So that's why if you can start practicing like this now, then when it comes to riding bigger bikes, you're going to find it so much easier to control the bike on launches. And of course, you can launch the bike quicker using this technique as well, as I just demonstrated on bigger bikes. You don't have to do throttle first. It's just something to keep in mind.
All right, everyone, so the next thing is balancing the bike, specifically at slow speeds. All right, once you start moving, you know, balance is easy. Once you're about 10 mile an hour, even 5 mile an hour, it gets a lot easier to balance the bike. But let's say, I don't know, you're trying to learn things like U-turns or something like that. They are easier to do if you're moving faster, but you're not going to have the same turning circle. You're not going to get the best turning circle, rather. Alright, so that's 3 parking bays there. Don't know if I could do it in 2. Now on these bikes, it is fairly straightforward because they're really light, really. When you start getting up to bigger bikes, this just gets exponentially harder. Whoa, nearly had it. Nearly had it. But that's the kind of game you can play as well, like trying to not put your feet down. See how long you can go. That's the thing, you've got to get confident in going full lock on the bike one way or other, because that's when you're going to get the best turning circles. Oh, there you go, two parking bays. You can do it left ways, right ways is a little bit harder for me. Yeah, when you're doing these turns, you have got to give it gas. No, and I'm pretty much doing full lock there, but at best on this bike, about 2.5. There we go. That was a good one. That was fairly decent. Oh, one more. Yeah, there we go. Got it. 2 parking bays with a bit of momentum. Ugh. So I can do it that way, but I really struggle doing it the other way. Oh, I'm so close. Now you don't have to start off doing 2 parking bays. You can start off with doing it in 3. Alright, so you start off here and practice getting in within 3 parking bays. There you go, like that. To be fair, that's good enough, really, for the vast majority of maneuvers that you're going to be doing on a motorcycle. That's good enough. But yeah, try and get the tightest circles you can, but this is where you may drop the bike. So just keep that in mind, alright? You may drop the bike whilst you're doing this. My wife did while she was practicing as well, alright? But that's what these bikes are for. They're for this kind of thing. Don't be afraid to drop it, and if you are afraid to drop it, go ahead and get yourself some frame sliders. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you really should be practicing after you've done your CBT, you know, and it will really help with things like balance, because then you can get far more confident if you're going lock to lock on the bike. And if you have to put your foot down, put your feet down, especially when you're starting off anyway. So let's start off with this. Put our feet down. So I've got my feet on either side of the bike just to help me with the balance. That's another good way to start off. And that's what you got to do, you know. You don't want the bike falling, so just put your foot down. Get ready to put your foot down if you need to. Alright everyone, so the next thing, and this is something that my wife kind of struggles with, is knowing when to downshift. So let's go up into third gear. When should I be downshifting? Oh dear. When should I have downshifted then? What do you think? So I'm in third gear still. I'm in first. So it might be easier actually if we go down this road instead. Yeah, let's do that. That's second. That's third. When should I start downshifting? There maybe? There maybe? Maybe. So a good rule of thumb, and this is something that you will feel out when you really start getting a little bit of experience on the bike. So let's up again to third again. Second, third. So I say when you're under 5,000 RPM, downshift. That's the easiest way. 5,000 RPM and under, make sure you downshift. And you can do multiple downshifts as well. So I'm in third gear. I know I'm going to come to a stop and I'm under 5,000 RPM. 1, 2. And you can let the clutch out to help you slow down a little bit more. You can use some engine braking. Of course, you can downshift when you're at higher RPMs, you know. But the one thing you don't want to do is over rev. So if you're up at say 8,000 or 9,000 RPM and you drop a gear and the bike goes past its red line, that's when you could give yourself some problems. So just be careful with that. You can downshift at higher than 5,000 RPM if you wanted to, but you've got to be careful. Downshift once, downshift twice. And I suppose that's probably the easiest way to figure out when you need to downshift. So if I get back into third again. So downshift once, let go of the clutch, I know what my revs are. Downshift again, I know what my revs are. And anything under 5,000 RPM, and you're good. Then when you start getting more confident, then you can start doing multiple downshifts at once. 1, 2. Because you start to understand what the bike is able to do at what speed. You know, I mean, this bike can, well, I don't know. Let's see what speed this bike can do in first gear. There, about 27 mile an hour. But you don't have to know that. You'll just feel it out. You'll start understanding. You'll start getting it. But as always, it takes practice, practice, practice. You've got to ride the bike to start understanding these things, to start gaining the experience, to understand what I'm talking about when I say feel it out. You know, like I don't know what speed I'm doing, don't know what RPM I'm doing, but I know I need downshift. You know what I mean? I could put tape over this, completely cover it up, and I'd still know when I need to upshift, when I need to downshift. Alright everyone, so just to highlight the point I was making, I've put some electrical tape over the dashboard, as you can see. I did want gaffer tape, but the shop only had electrical tape, unfortunately. But I'm perfectly able to ride this bike without, well, yeah, without a rev meter, without a speedo. The only issue is I don't know what speed I'm doing, but I mean, not that you can speed on these bikes anyway, right? They're too slow. No, I'm sure you can get caught speeding on these bikes, so don't do what I'm doing. But it's just to demonstrate that you will learn to feel what the bike is doing. You will learn that you don't have to see the dashboard to understand what the bike is doing or when you should be downshifting. It's like my video where where I spoke about not needing a gear indicator either. You don't need a gear indicator to learn how to ride a motorcycle. Yeah, they're handy, and I suppose they might help you with confidence a little bit, but again, it's about feeling it out. You feel what the bike is doing and you understand what it needs next, and that's pretty much what this little demonstration here is all about. I hope that that tape comes off easy enough. I don't know, hopefully it doesn't leave any residue. So it was quite freeing actually, not riding with a speedometer. Let's hope I don't get caught speeding. I don't think I will, but not having to worry about what speed you're doing actually is really neat. But yeah, don't do this yourselves at home on your bike, alright? If you want to do it for a laugh or something like that, then, well, I'm not going to stop you, but yeah, you should get to this point. When you've ridden bikes for long enough, you'll get to this point and you'll understand what I'm talking about. You do actually see a lot of bikes that don't have a rev meter. They just got a speedo and that's it. And you've got to figure out, or learn I suppose, when the bike is at higher RPMs, when it's at lower RPMs. It's just something that you need to figure out, but you can only do that by practicing. Alright everyone, so the last thing then is hill starts. Now we're actually quite fortunate here because we've got these little raised bits here that we could use as, I don't know, things to practice on. But I'm going to make it really hard for myself. Now again, we've got a video about this in our kind of beginner playlist, right? This is a really high, it's a really high curb. But the idea is, if you can get over this curb with just using the clutch and just using gas, just using the throttle, like so, then you can do any hill start. The easiest way to do it is to kind of be facing the curb though. I mean, I'm doing it at an angle here, but let's face the curb. Let's do it again. So if you can do this, you can get over a curb without stalling the bike, then you can do hill starts easy. Right, and it does help as well if you take some weight off the handlebars. And up. Practice that a few times, and you'll get it. But don't cheat, right? Don't get a you know, a head start, all right? Don't get some momentum. Put yourself right up to the curb, right up to it, and see if you can get over it. There we go. I'm over it, and not stalling. And then, I mean, if you're struggling with that, because that is a difficult thing to do, then yeah, try and find yourself a lowered curb like this. Put your front wheel on it like that, and then see if you can get it up and over the little kind of, well, I don't want to say hill, but the little raised bit of the pavement. Because once you've got this far and you're able to let the clutch out fully, then you've kind of done it. So you don't really have to worry about getting up the hill once you've got going. It's just the start. So I'm on a bit of a hill here. There we go, and I'm away. And that's how you do it. And then once you've got that under your belt, once you practice that, you know how to do that, then you can start doing these curbs here. All right, very difficult to do, but if you can do that, then yeah, you can do hill starts easy. Let's do one more. Three. I mean, I can keep on going, I suppose, can't I? See if I can get my other wheel up. Can I get my other wheel up? Let's see. Am I doing a bit of a burnout? I might be. Yeah, I can see the rubber on the curb there. All right, everyone. Well, there you have it. That's all the things that I think are the hardest things to learn when you start riding motorcycles. But as we've demonstrated in today's video, there are lots of ways that you can practice them and get better at them and one day master them. And you don't have to worry about them ever again. They will be like, well, you'll wonder why you struggled with those things so much when you first started off. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below, and if there's any way that we can develop these kind of techniques that we've been discussing today, or maybe you've got better suggestions, go ahead, leave them down in the comment section below, and maybe one day I can test them out and see how good they really are. If they're better than my techniques, great, that's what it's all about. But thank you so much for watching today. Leave that like, hit that subscribe button if you've learned something, and the notification bell so you don't miss any more of our motorcycle tutorials going forward. And I'll catch you all in the next video, everyone. Take care, ride safe.